The distress call. In the cold expanse of space, silence reigned supreme, broken only by the urgent beeping of a distress beacon. It echoed through the corridors of the Resolute, a battered ship that had seen better days. Randy Young, its grizzled captain, stood at the helm, his eyes narrowed at the flickering holographic display before him. The image revealed a Marin freighter, its hull riddled with scorch marks, desperately signaling for help. Surrounding it were notorious space pirates, their ships circling like vultures waiting for a meal. Randy's heart raced as he considered their options. For years, he had led this ragtag crew of human mercenaries, exiles branded as traitors by the Intergalactic Council, through perilous encounters and desperate scrapes. They had scavenged ancient ruins on forsaken worlds just to survive. Now they faced a choice that could alter their fate once more. Captain Jax, his hot-headed pilot, interjected with urgency in his voice. "If we stick our necks out for them, we might lose our heads. We have no idea what kind of trap this could be." Tara, their tech-savvy engineer, chimed in as she monitored the readings on her console. Sensors confirm that distress call is authentic. But Jax is right. Engaging those pirates could expose us. A grim determination settled over Randy's battle-scarred features. He understood the risks all too well. They were hunted by those who deemed them renegades. Yet deep down, he felt an undeniable pull toward heroism. A chance to prove that humanity was more than just outlaws in the galaxy. Trap or not, he declared with conviction, "We're going in." His words hung in the air like a challenge thrown into the void. The crew exchanged glances filled with uncertainty, but also flickers of hope. This was their chance to be more than mere galactic jetsam, to reclaim some shred of humanity's boldness and bravery. "Suit up and prepare for combat," Randy ordered, his voice firm and unwavering. Tara began charging the plasma cannons while Jax plotted an intercept course. Brick, their hulking weapons specialist, readied heavy ordnance with practiced ease. As they scrambled into action stations, Randy allowed himself a tight smile. They were branded traitors by those who feared them. But out here in this lawless frontier, they were about to become heroes, if only for one day. The hijacked freighter loomed large on their monitors, a fat prize for any pirate willing to risk it all. Randy's crew tensed at their stations, adrenaline coursing through their veins like wildfire. Zeke's fingers flew over engineering consoles as he prepped systems for battle, while Gunner steadied himself over the weapons array, calm and focused like a coiled snake ready to strike. "Take us in," Randy barked. "On my mark," Zeke replied, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Hit them with a cyber attack." "Gunner," Randy continued, "target their engines and weapons. We hit hard. We hit fast." The crew responded with determined nods as they braced themselves for impact. Jax sent them hurtling toward the pirate vessels, deftly dodging incoming fire while keeping an eye on their quarry. As they closed in on the fray, Zeke unleashed his cyber attack, a barrage of viruses that sliced into pirate systems like knives through butter. Weapons went offline. Engines sputtered. Shields flickered before collapsing entirely under the assault. "The hunters have become the hunted," Gunner exclaimed triumphantly as he zeroed in on stricken pirate vessels. His shots were precise and merciless, each blast creating chaos among their enemies. "Boarding party with me," Randy commanded as he unstrapped himself from his command chair. "Jax," he added urgently, "keep us tight alongside that freighter." "Gunner, Zeke, watch our backs." With mag boots clanging against metal decks, Randy led his team across the boarding umbilical toward the beleaguered freighter. Smoke choked their lungs as alarms blared around them. Wounded Marins lay strewn about in agony. Bursting onto the bridge of the freighter, Randy found chaos reigning supreme. The pirate captain stood over a fallen Marin, with a blaster leveled at its head. Without hesitation, he snapped off a shot from his own weapon, a precise strike that drilled into the pirate's forehead. The body crumpled lifelessly to the floor as Randy rushed forward to help the fallen Marin captain who groaned beneath him. "Easy there," he said gently but firmly. "We're here to help." The Marin captain's compound eyes glinted with gratitude as he clutched his side in pain. "You saved us. Saved our cargo," he gasped weakly. Randy helped him up cautiously, while scanning for further threats around them. He knew better than to trust too easily. Gratitude could sour quickly in space's unforgiving depths. "Let's get you patched up," Randy said decisively while assessing what remained of their cargo hold. "Then we'll talk about squaring up." As they limped away from danger together, stepping over bodies left behind, the battle may have been won, but Randy sensed deeper trials awaited them ahead. Fate had dealt them a new hand, one that would test not just humanity's mettle, but also that of their newfound allies among the stars. In this moment of uncertainty amidst victory lay seeds of hope, and perhaps redemption, for those branded traitors by an unforgiving galaxy. The rescue mission. The aftermath of the battle left a palpable tension in the air. Randy Young stood on the bridge of the Resolute, his heart still racing from the adrenaline of combat. The Marin freighter, now secured, floated alongside them, its hull mirrored but intact. Captain Vega leaned against a console, wincing as he pressed a makeshift bandage to his side. The crew of both ships had survived the skirmish, but the scars of conflict were evident. "Status report," Randy barked, his voice cutting through the haze of exhaustion. "Pirate ships are retreating," Jax reported from the helm, his fingers dancing over the controls. "They won't be back any time soon." "Good," Randy replied, but his relief was short-lived. "We need to check the cargo and assess any injuries." As they moved to inspect the freighter's hold, Tara joined them, her brow furrowed in concentration. "I'll run diagnostics on our systems and see if we took any hits during that fight," she said, her voice steady. The crew made their way through the narrow corridors of the Marin ship, stepping over debris and the occasional injured crew member. The scent of burnt metal and smoke hung thick in the air, a reminder of how close they had come to disaster. Inside the cargo bay, they found crates stacked high, some marked with symbols indicating medical supplies. Essential for a planet suffering from a pandemic. Vega's eyes widened as he surveyed the hold. "You saved our cargo. This is vital for my people," he said, gratitude spilling from his voice. Randy nodded, feeling a swell of pride. "We couldn't let it fall into pirate hands, but we need to get these supplies to safety." Vega straightened up slightly, determination flickering in his compound eyes. "We can work together. My crew can help you navigate through the dangers ahead." The suggestion hung in the air like an unspoken promise. Randy felt a mix of hope and skepticism. Alliances were fragile in their line of work. But as he looked at Vega, an alien who had faced similar struggles, he sensed a bond forming between them. "Let's get everyone patched up first," Randy said, gesturing toward Tara and Zeke, who were already assessing injuries among Vega's crew. As they worked side by side, Randy couldn't help but notice how quickly they fell into a rhythm. Tara handled medical supplies with deft hands, while Zeke used his engineering skills to jury-rig equipment for better functionality. After tending to the wounded and securing the cargo, they gathered in a makeshift conference room aboard the Resolute. The atmosphere was tense yet charged with potential. "Now that we've stabilized things," Randy began, looking around at both crews, "we need to discuss our next steps." Vega nodded gravely. The pirates were not acting alone. They are part of a larger syndicate that seeks to control trade routes and resources across this sector. Jax leaned forward, intrigued. "What do you mean? Are they working for someone?" "Yes," Vega replied slowly. "There's talk among my people about a shadowy figure known only as the Broker. He orchestrates attacks on ships like ours to weaken our defenses." Randy felt a chill run down his spine at the mention of the Broker. He had heard whispers about this elusive figure, a mastermind pulling strings from behind the scenes. If they were going to confront this threat, they needed more than just courage. They needed information. "We have to find out more about this Broker," Randy said decisively. "But first, we need to ensure that your crew is safe and that these supplies reach their destination." Vega agreed. I can provide you with coordinates for a secure location where we can regroup and plan our next move. As they plotted their course through treacherous space lanes known for pirate activity, camaraderie began to blossom between humans and Marins alike. They shared stories over rations, tales of survival against overwhelming odds that resonated deeply within each crew member. Randy found himself laughing at Jax's antics as he mimicked pirate behavior, while Gunnar shared tales of legendary battles fought long ago. Even Vega joined in with anecdotes about Marin culture and their struggles against depression. Yet beneath this newfound friendship lay an undercurrent of tension. Everyone was acutely aware that danger lurked just beyond their view. As they prepared for departure, Tara approached Randy quietly. "Captain," she said hesitantly, "are you sure about this alliance? I mean, we're still considered traitors by most." Randy sighed heavily before meeting her gaze. "I know what we are branded as by the Council," he replied earnestly. "But sometimes it takes being an outcast to see things clearly. We can't fight alone anymore, not against forces like the Broker." With that thought in mind, Randy gathered everyone on deck for their departure briefing. "Listen up," he called out firmly as both crews assembled before him. "We're embarking on a new mission, not just to deliver supplies, but also to uncover who's behind these attacks." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Uncertainty mingled with excitement. "We may be branded traitors," he continued passionately, "but today we stand united. Together we can show this galaxy what humanity is capable of when pushed against the wall." Cheers erupted among them, a powerful affirmation that echoed throughout both ships. With renewed determination fueling their spirits, they set course toward Vega's coordinates, an uncharted world where alliances would be tested and destinies intertwined. As the Resolute glided through space alongside Vega's freighter, Randy felt an unfamiliar sense of hope blossoming within him, a belief that perhaps together they could forge something greater than mere survival, an alliance built on trust and shared purpose against an unseen enemy lurking in shadows beyond their reach. Little did they know that every decision made from this point forward would shape not just their fates, but also alter the course of history itself, a battle between light and darkness poised to unfold across galaxies yet unseen. A new alliance. As the Resolute and the Marin freighter settled into a secure orbit around the desolate moon, an air of cautious optimism enveloped the crew. Randy Young stood at the bridge, his eyes scanning the star-speckled void beyond. The battle had been fierce, but they had emerged victorious, and now they had a new ally in Captain Vega and his crew. The prospect of cooperation between humans and Marins was both thrilling and daunting. Building trust. Randy turned to Vega, who was still nursing his side but had regained some of his strength. "We need to get your crew organized and secure those supplies," Randy said, his tone firm yet encouraging. "Once we're settled, we can discuss our next steps against the Broker." Vega nodded, his compound eyes reflecting a mix of gratitude and determination. "My crew is loyal. They will follow me into the depths of space if it means protecting our people." As they moved to the cargo hold, Randy couldn't help but feel a sense of camaraderie forming between their crews. The Marins were a proud race, known for their resilience in the face of adversity. They had suffered greatly from pirate attacks, and now they were united with humans, traitors in the eyes of many, who had risked everything to save them. Tara and Zeke worked together to assess the medical supplies they had rescued. "We have enough here to help a small colony," Tara said, her voice brightening as she sorted through the crates. "But we need to make sure they get distributed properly." "Let's set up a plan," Zeke suggested, pulling out a datapad. "We can use our ship's systems to track where the supplies are needed most." Randy watched as Vega joined them, intrigued by their efficiency. "You humans are resourceful," he remarked, admiration evident in his voice. "We could learn much from each other." A shared mission. As they finalized their plans for distributing the medical supplies, Randy felt a surge of hope. Perhaps this alliance could be more than just a temporary arrangement. It could be the beginning of something greater. After securing their cargo and ensuring that everyone was accounted for, Randy called for a meeting on the bridge. Both crews assembled, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of control panels. "Thank you all for your bravery today," Randy began, his voice steady. "We've faced danger together and come out stronger for it, but this is just the beginning." Vega stepped forward, his voice resonant with authority. "The threat from the broker is real. We must gather intelligence on his operations if we are to stop him." Jax interjected, excitement bubbling in his tone. "What if we set up surveillance on known pirate routes? We could track their movements and gather intel on the broker's operations." "That's an excellent idea," Terra agreed enthusiastically. "If we can pinpoint where they're attacking next, we might be able to preemptively strike back." Randy felt a wave of pride as he listened to his crew brainstorming alongside Vega's team. This was what he had always hoped for, a collaboration that transcended species and backgrounds. Training together. In the days that followed, both crews worked tirelessly to prepare for their mission against the broker. They trained together in combat simulations, sharing techniques that highlighted human ingenuity and marin agility. Randy watched as Gunnar taught Vega's crew how to handle human weaponry, while Vega demonstrated marin combat techniques that emphasized speed and precision. Laughter mingled with shouts as they sparred in makeshift training areas aboard the Resolute. "Your moves are too predictable," Gunnar teased as he narrowly dodged a strike from one of Vega's crew members. "Predictable? I'll show you predictable." The Marin lunged again with renewed vigor. Randy couldn't help but smile at the camaraderie blossoming before him. It was a sight he never thought he would witness, a human and Marin working side by side toward a common goal. Facing prejudice. However, not everything was smooth sailing. Despite their shared mission, tensions occasionally flared due to lingering prejudices from both sides. Some humans still viewed Marins with suspicion, while certain Marins harbored distrust toward humans because of past betrayals. One evening, as they gathered for dinner in the mess hall, an argument erupted between two crew members, one human and one Marin, over past grievances. "You can't trust them," shouted one human crew member, slamming his fist on the table. "They've allied with pirates before." Vega stood up sharply, his eyes narrowing in anger. "You think all Marins are traitors? We've suffered too. Our people have been hunted just like yours." Randy intervened quickly before emotions escalated further. "Enough," he commanded firmly but calmly. "This is not why we're here. We're fighting against a common enemy now. The broker. If we can't trust each other, we'll never succeed." Silence fell over the room as everyone absorbed his words. Slowly but surely, understanding began to replace anger, a glimmer of hope. As time passed and they continued training together, Randy noticed shifts in attitudes among both crews. Humans began to see Marins not as enemies, but as allies who shared similar struggles against oppression. One night after training sessions ended, Terra approached Vega while he was cleaning his weapon, a sleek blaster designed for speed and accuracy. "You know," she said tentatively, "I've been thinking about how we can improve our technology together." Vega looked up curiously. "What do you mean?" "I believe your weapons could benefit from some of our tech enhancements," Terra explained excitedly. "And maybe we can adapt some of your defensive strategies into our systems." Vega's eyes brightened at her suggestion. That could work. Together we could create something truly formidable. Randy watched from a distance as Terra and Vega began discussing ideas animatedly. It filled him with hope that this alliance could grow into something powerful. Preparing for action. With every passing day spent training and strategizing together came new levels of trust forged through shared experiences, their bonds solidified by mutual respect born from hardship. Finally came the day when they felt ready enough to take action against the broker. They gathered once more on the bridge of the Resolute, anticipation buzzing in the air like electricity. "Today marks a turning point," Randy declared passionately as he surveyed both crews assembled before him. Humans standing shoulder to shoulder with Marins ready for battle. We will gather intelligence on the broker's operations. Together we will show him that humanity, and all its allies, will not be silenced. Cheers erupted among them, a chorus of voices united by purpose echoing through space as they prepared to embark on their mission against darkness, lurking just beyond reach. In that moment, amidst uncertainty lay hope, a flickering flame igniting within each heart, daring them forward into uncharted territory, where alliances would be tested, but perhaps also transformed into something greater than themselves. Shadows of betrayal. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a pale light over the makeshift camp established by the crews of the Resolute and the Marin freighter. After days of preparation, they had finally begun their mission to gather intelligence on the broker, the shadowy figure orchestrating the chaos in their sector. Yet beneath the surface of their newfound alliance, tension simmered, threatening to unravel everything they had built. A fragile alliance. Randy Young stood at the edge of their camp, staring into the distance. The vastness of space felt both comforting and daunting. He was proud of what they had accomplished so far, uniting humans and Marins against a common enemy. But he knew that trust was a fragile thing. He had seen alliances crumble under pressure before, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was lurking just out of sight. Vega approached him, his expression serious. "We need to discuss our next steps," he said, his voice low. "I've received reports from my crew about increased pirate activity near the trade routes. If the broker is behind this, we must act quickly." Randy nodded, feeling a knot tighten in his stomach. "We'll need to split into teams," he suggested. "One group can set up surveillance while the other gathers intel on known pirate bases." As they discussed their plans, Jax and Tara joined them. Jax leaned against a nearby crate, arms crossed over his chest. "I still think we should hit them hard," he said, his tone brimming with bravado. "Show them we're not afraid." Tara shook her head, her brow furrowed in concern. "If we go in guns blazing without proper intel, we risk losing everything we've worked for. We need to be smart about this." Randy felt torn between Jax's aggressive approach and Tara's cautious strategy. "We'll do both," he decided finally. "We'll gather intel first, and then make our move if necessary." The gathering storm. As night fell over the moon, both crews prepared for their mission. The air was thick with anticipation and unspoken fears. Randy could see it in the eyes of his crew. Anxiety mixed with determination. They were on the brink of something significant, but they were also acutely aware of the risks involved. In a nearby tent, Vega gathered his team for a briefing. Randy listened from outside as Vega spoke passionately about their shared goal: to dismantle the broker's operations and protect their worlds from further harm. "Together, we are stronger," Vega urged his crew. "We must trust one another if we are to succeed." Randy felt a swell of pride as he heard Vega's words echoing his own thoughts. They were fighting not just for survival, but for a future where humans and Marins could coexist without fear. A dangerous mission. The next morning, they set out in two small scout ships, the Resolute and Vega's freighter, each carrying a mix of humans and Marins. As they navigated through asteroid fields toward known pirate territories, tension crackled in the air. Jax piloted their ship with confidence while Tara monitored systems from her station. Randy sat beside Jax, scanning the surroundings for any signs of danger. "Keep your eyes peeled," Randy instructed. "We don't know what we're walking into." As they approached a suspected pirate base, hidden within an asteroid belt, Randy's heart raced with anticipation. They had gathered intel indicating that this location was a hub for the broker's operations. "Stealth mode engaged," Tara announced as she adjusted controls to minimize their ship's signature. They crept closer to the base, cloaked in shadows as they observed the bustling activity below. A hive of pirates loading cargo onto ships while others patrolled the area. "Looks like they're preparing for something big," Jax whispered, his eyes narrowed as he focused on the scene below. Randy nodded grimly. "We need to get closer and gather more information." Betrayal unveiled. As they moved into position for reconnaissance, Randy couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling gnawing at him, a sense that something was amiss within their ranks. Suddenly, alarms blared across the pirate base as one of their ships detected an anomaly in its sensors. Chaos erupted below as pirates scrambled to prepare for an attack. "Time to go," Jack shouted as he maneuvered their ship away from danger. But just as they were about to retreat, Tara's voice rang out with urgency. "Wait, we can't leave yet. We need evidence." Randy hesitated but ultimately agreed. They needed proof that could expose the broker. They circled back around cautiously as Jax piloted them into a hidden alcove near the base. Inside the base, pirates were shouting orders while others loaded crates onto ships, some marked with symbols indicating stolen goods from various planets. "Let's get some footage," Randy instructed quietly as Tara activated her recording device. Just then, a commotion erupted nearby. A heated argument between two pirates caught Randy's attention. "You fool. If you let them escape again, the broker will have our heads," one pirate yelled angrily. Randy exchanged glances with Jax and Tara. This was it, the confirmation they needed that the broker was orchestrating these attacks from behind the scenes. But then something unexpected happened. Amid the chaos, one of their own crew members, a human named Cole, stepped forward from behind cover and confronted the pirates directly. "What are you doing?" Randy gasped in disbelief as he watched Cole brandish his weapon defiantly against those who had once been allies. Cole shouted back at them about betrayal and greed before turning on his own crew members who had come with him, a shocking act that sent shockwaves through everyone present. "Cole, what are you doing?" Randy shouted over comms, trying to reach him before it was too late. But Cole didn't listen. Instead, he fired shots at both pirates and his fellow crewmates alike, a betrayal that left everyone stunned. A fight for survival. In an instant, chaos erupted around them as gunfire rang out in every direction. The pirates retaliated fiercely against Cole while Randy's crew scrambled to react amidst confusion and fear. "Get us out of here," Jax shouted urgently as he fought to regain control of their ship amidst the chaos below. Tara worked frantically at her console to adjust shields, while Gunner prepared weapons for defense against incoming fire from both sides, their situation spiraling rapidly out of control. "Hold steady," Randy commanded fiercely, despite feeling helpless against this unexpected betrayal unfolding before him. But it was too late. Cole had ignited a powder keg that threatened to consume them all. Their fragile alliance now hanging by a thread, as loyalties were tested under fire. With every passing moment came new dangers emerging from both sides, their mission now transformed into a desperate fight for survival against enemies who had once been allies. Regrouping after chaos, as they narrowly escaped back to the Resolute, hearts racing with fear and adrenaline coursing through their veins like wildfire, Randy struggled to process what had just happened, the betrayal by one of their own weighing heavily on him like an anchor dragging them down into darkness. Once aboard safely again, but shaken by events unfolding outside, Randy gathered everyone together for an emergency meeting amidst lingering tension, still hanging thickly in air around them like smoke after battle had cleared away, leaving only uncertainty behind. "We need answers," he declared firmly, looking around at each member present, both human and Marin alike, all still reeling from shock over betrayal witnessed moments ago. Vega stepped forward cautiously, speaking up bravely despite fear evident within him too. "We cannot let this divide us further. We must stand united if we are going to face whatever lies ahead." His words resonated deeply within those gathered there. Slowly nods began appearing among crew members affirming solidarity, despite recent events, threatening unity forged through shared struggles faced together thus far. But deep down inside, Randy knew things would never be quite same again. Trust shattered by one man's reckless actions, leaving scars that would take time heal completely before true alliance could flourish anew. As night fell upon them, once more silence enveloped everything around, while stars twinkled above like distant hopes shining brightly, still waiting patiently just beyond reach.